there was another promotion called True, and I said, I would like to tag with him. Can we test that out here? And they said, yeah. And then it just kind of rolled from there. And then like it just became more and more serious. We had at the time for a company called SWO, I was their champion, and Alan was one of their champions as well. So we had to finish out our single storylines, and then eventually we tagged together, and it's been like that since. We enjoyed it. We wanted to test it out. Companies were, very gracious to let us do it, and we've been tagging since. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't always Dog Nation though. It took us a little bit to get the name Dog Nation, but we're in. The gears are grinding for sure. We're in there.
Got you. No, there you go. That's always to see the origin there, to see the unity. It's great to see. And I'm noticing now, unfortunately, we're not streaming on YouTube, which is weird. But we'll definitely post the after for everyone that wants to check it out on YouTube. So my apologies. We are streaming everyone else though. So I'm not sure. Oh, now we're live apparently on YouTube. So I don't know what is
we're back.
We're back. I'm gonna blame this on South Philly's finest. We're gonna blame it on South Philly here. They're hacking into the stream here. We're gonna blame it on them. But as we continue here, it's no better time than to get into it with that championship matchup, as it will be this Saturday. Red Rose Rumble 2, as you guys will be defending those 3 Legacy Wrestling World Tag Team Championships against South Philly's finest. So talk us through just what this means to be a part of just a stacked event here for 3 Legacies Wrestling and to be walking in as those World Tag Team Champions.
It means a lot, to say the least. I know that's going to sound cliche, but yeah, it does mean a lot. We were not on the Red Rose Rumble last year. We actually debuted for 3 Legacies Wrestling the very next show, which would be their anniversary show, which was against South Philly's finest. And we did not win our debut match there. So rough start, but we got our shit together. And moving from there, we have not lost a match since. And a very important match against South Philly's finest was during the tournament for the championships, now the World Championships. And we were able to overcome the odds, scouted their cheating at the time, and then we got the W, and then we went on to face your good friend Smiley and Delirious. And to go from there, from that being in March to where we are now in such a short period of time, because that match was one of those matches you had, and I couldn't fall asleep until like 6 a.m. And then you wake up like literally 2 hours later because you're just jacked the fuck up, man. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, the chance we got, the standing ovation at the end, that was awesome ovation at the end, to like where we are now. So South Philly has one on us. We have one on them. So that's just as important to this story as well. It's a big deal to be here. It's their WrestleMania. There's no other way to put it. It's their big show. I want to treat it accordingly. We haven't traveled the world for nothing, and I don't plan on walking out of there without these championships. Though?
Yeah, I agree. And, we have a lot of respect for South Philly, even though they like to cheat every time they get in the ring. But, hey, we're ready to throw down with them boys again, just like we've done how many times. And, we didn't just do it at 3 Legacies. We've done it around a few promotions now. So, yeah. We've got each other scouted. We ain't coming in there and going to take each other lightly. It's going to be intense. And, we're ready, boys. I hope you guys are ready. I hope you're watching this. Be ready Saturday, because we ain't going to be playing around.
There you go. And no, I saw earlier Jimmy Conway definitely had his eyes on this interview here. So we'll see. I can imagine South Philly. South Philly definitely is no strangers here to the podcast. So we shall see. We shall see. We tried to get a word from them, but they were a little too busy. So I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, I can't blame them. We're not taking them lightly, and I hope they're not taking us lightly. I hope they're using this time to be ready, because one of the biggest things we have said, they can't beat us unless they want to try and cheat. They can't win their matches unless they want to cheat. So that's what we're expecting out of them. We want to fight man to man. We don't want no gimmicks. We want a fair fight. And there's some of the crowd that doesn't like that. They like the idea of cheating. I get it. You like who you like. But as far as Dog Nation, we're going to stand on business and do what we need to do.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. There you go. We go back to the comments 1 second. We got Tammy here showing some love. Love you, Dog Nation. We got Jomani saying we are live. So cool. YouTube is working apparently. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I didn't want to
brother.
work it first. There you go. Paul saying, let's get it, dog. Dogs hydrate. There you go. And Kathy saying, let's go, Dog Nation. And Brittany now. I love the dogs from the Dog Pound. There you go. So much support here.
Kathy, hello, mother.
Much support here for Dog Nation. But as we continue now, again, I kept mentioning it in the intro and I want to bring it up now. Being able to make those championships, world tag team championships there. Just how is that for you guys being able to take those and go international, going to South Korea, getting to go to Chile? Just how are those opportunities for both of you?
It is a blessing to say the least. I've said that multiple times and I write it in every post, but the reason I say it's a blessing to say the least, Alan and I used to dream of moments like this, to be, let's just put it where it is, to be on someone else's dollar and they're sending us out to these places to go live not only go live our dream, but to then be welcomed by these countries and all that stuff. And yeah, it really is a dream come true, and I hope to continue the momentum. And that's another reason why I don't plan on losing these championships come Saturday, because I would like to continue these opportunities. It means the world. Obviously, big shout out to Ricardo Rodriguez, Jesus, however you refer to him. He is the connection. And then shout out to Shiho in South Korea and other people partnering with him. And then shout out to Revolucion, Lucha Libre in Chile, for allowing this to happen. And shout out to anyone that's willing to let the dogs bring 3 legacies to their country. So yeah, it's a dream come true, man. It is a blessing to say the least. Like, these are moments I used to dream of, and to think that we're on someone else's dollar living our dream finally. You know, it took a little bit, but Jordan Oliver said this one time to me after a show. He just said, you guys just got to keep pushing. He just said, I can't promise when your moment's going to be there, but it'll be there. You just got to keep pushing. You just got to keep going. He said, because you could always be one step away from that next step. So, dope.
Yeah. You know, I agree with Sage. It was a dream come true for both of us. Going to South Korea was my first time ever even out of the country. And, you know, it's halfway across the world. That's the first place I ever go. So, I mean, it was definitely an amazing experience. We spent 2 weeks for me, 3 weeks for him. And I had 2 matches. He had 3. And,
4, actually.
Oh, 4. And, you know, it was so awesome to be out there and get the feel of another crowd in another country. And everybody was just so respectful towards us and, you know, treated us like we were the real deal. And, you know, now we get to say we're international wrestlers. So, and it was the same way in Chile. You know, I was only there for 3 days pretty much. Flew in Friday, was left by Monday morning, you know, so we didn't even get to experience that much, but we still came in, did our thing, and was treated with such respect. I mean, you know, it was,
yeah,
it was crazy how, you know, we, you know, small town Pennsylvania guys, and now we're worldwide, getting out there, getting our name out there. You know, it really is a dream come true.
Yeah, man, they've made us feel like superstars. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it, dude. Yeah. If I could say some of the things that just happened down there, man, they treated us like superstars. It was amazing. I don't, no way to sugarcoat it, brother.
No, got you. No, and again, it's much deserved. Not just because you guys are here, but definitely it shows the work you guys put in. Truly, no pun intended, respecting the craft and earning those moments like that right there. So again, much congratulations to you both. And again, the work is paying off, and you see it here with all the love from everyone in the chat right here. We got the proud mama there for your Sage. So there you go. And we got Jomani giving you guys a little bit of be careful, saying be careful with SPF. They're really good, and they tend to use the ref's blind side to their advantage.
Well aware. Yes, sir.
They do.
Thank you.
There you go. There you go. A little bit of tip there from Jomani. But with that, I do want to ask, again, not to go into too deep with that. Again, there's certain things that we can't say on the live recording here. But for you guys, though, those experiences, how was that for you, just being out there and just getting to wrestle in front of different crowds like that? Just how was that reaction and that craft over there on each country?
For South Korea, so To some of those that are watching that specifically just watch Three Legacies Wrestling, that is our home turf, and that is where we are the most respectful. So this might become a little shock, and I guess we're pulling the curtain back a little bit, but we were heels everywhere we went. Obviously, babyface back home, we're pulling the curtain back a little bit, but we were bad guys where we were. And when we came out, South Korea was so respectful. There's about 5 wrestling companies running, 3 actively running live shows. So the market is not huge there, but we were about in front of 120 to 130 for our first show there. And they were excited that Americans were coming to wrestle, and they were so grateful for it. Well, here I come out, and we're yelling up a storm. We're telling them cut the clapping, cut this shit out. And for the most part, these Koreans can't understand what we're saying. You know what I mean? Some speak English, but I'm over top of a 5-year-old kid, and I said, "Put your fucking hand down, little boy." And he's like, hey, like he's so caught off guard. And even though I'm yelling at them and I'm saying like I'm pushing their hands down or whatever, they still were clapping. And then during intermission, they were still like, "Please, photo, please," like, and of course we do it. We want to make the boss man happy, and we want to say our thanks for coming. But during the show, they eventually, they're like, "Oh, these guys are assholes, but like we appreciate your craft and being assholes." And then with Chile, whole different story. They clapped once again, thankful that, as they were calling us, some gringos would come down to their country and wrestle for them. But then I started, no, cut this stuff. Alan saying, we're getting in people's faces. And it got to the point, and a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh, like, I don't know how I'd feel about that." We had little kids just straight up
They were.
like, I mean, when we were getting in their face, I was to the point, I remember after we had won our match, I mean, there was a guy that stood up and said, "Fuck you, gringo, get out of my country." Like, I thrive for that. Like, I love making those people feel those emotions. Like, yeah, I have even though it's not a legit hatred, but they got lost in the moment of like, "Man, you've really pissed us off."
Yeah.
There's a clip on on my Instagram where they're calling Alan bald, and then they just start chanting "fuck you, bald," like, because obviously their English isn't the greatest, so just "fuck you," and then they were just calling him bald. And like, yeah, half the time we weren't even wrestling because they were just screaming at us. Like,
Yep.
It was awesome. So South Korea, they'll go along. They respect it though because they just thrive. They want wrestling. It's a little more popular in Chile, and the market's a little bit bigger. So when we were giving it to them, they were giving it back. Like, I mean, they were in our faces. It was awesome. So
yeah,
no, there's
definitely that emotional connection there. You see it with, and I think what helped too was the promo when you guys were going to Chile. One of your opponents did just call Alan bald. That was it. He said Sage, and then the bald one, and it's like,
other
that's
bald
probably
dudes.
gonna transcend. It's like that's gonna transcend with the fan base, and they get that emotional connection. Like, for them to do that, it's like it's again adding them to part of the show in a sense. It's like, yeah, they're gonna call you guys some gringos,
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, I loved it. I loved them telling us to leave their country. I loved that they were legit pissed at us. After the show, prior to it, Brian Kendrick had a meet and greet, and we were supposed to be a part of it. But being heels, I told the promoter politely, I said, "Fuck these fans." I said, "They ain't getting this treatment beforehand." Afterwards, we did take photos, because as much as we're thankful to be there, we also treat it to the extent of, well, what if we never get the chance to go back? So after we've done our performance, after we've done our art, I wanted to say thank you. And then we took tons of photos, the good old gracias, hola, all that stuff, just welcoming them and stuff, and let them know, yeah, we'll be assholes. I mean, some of them wanted photos of us flipping them off. Some wanted us grabbing them and stuff. Like, they wanted the character in there. So as much as we love talking our shit, we are appreciative.
Gotcha. No, it's that full experience. That full experience there.
Yeah, for sure. It was crazy how different South Korea and the Chile fans were. Just like he said, very respectful and reserved in South Korea. And Chile, they were up in your face, ready to go nuts. So I mean, it was two whole different experiences, but at the same time, we got everybody invested the way we wanted to. And like he said, we played the part at first. We don't want to go out there and have people cheering us. We want to respect our craft, and that's go out there and take things seriously. And then afterwards, we can pay our respects and shake hands a little bit and say we appreciate you guys letting us come out, and we'll get our photos in. But when it comes out there for us coming out, we're all business.
Yep. Fuck them kids.
You know what it is? I feel like for them too, that just makes them appreciate it more, because it's, again, adding that full experience now, because now they get to see like, oh wait, these guys were assholes earlier. I still want to meet them, but now it's just like it's a whole different outlook on it. That before it would have been like, oh, these guys were so nice. Why are they acting like assholes now? Like what happened? Where's the switch here?
Yeah.
But we talk about that, and look at that. We got un saludo al gran Sage from Cata there. So there you go. The international fan base still there.
Ah.
There you go.
That's my girl from Chile.
There you go. And we got Prince Piranha saying, can't wait to see y'all this weekend. There you go.
Sir, what's good?
The dogs and Piranha staying together there. There you go. The vicious
animals gotta stay together, brother.
Animal kingdom.
Definitely. But now we go into this though, because we talked about some matches you guys have had, the matches that are coming up. Now I do want to talk about this with possibly some teams you guys would like to face in the future, especially defending those 3 Legacy World Tag Team titles there.
Obviously, FTR. Why not? They do independent bookings, very selective, but it would be awesome. I would love to wrestle FTR. I would love to wrestle the Motor City Machine Guns.
Yep.
We've had the fortunate experience of wrestling Alex Shelley. He tagged with a gentleman that I was feuding with for the main title of the company. And Alan and I would still do tags. So Alex Shelley was basically the reinforcement that he had brought in for that match. Those are the top 2 off my head. I think teams like the Rascals would be cool potentially before maybe NXT picks them up. We'll see. Was that, But or they continue with TNA. However, because I know some bigger companies, their independent bookings have to be selective, and rightfully so. You got to be healthy and ready for television. So the Rascals would be cool. ABC would be cool. Bay and Austin. Yeah. I mean, I just want to wrestle good tag teams, man. Ideally for the world tag team championships, continue to bring honor and legacy to these.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I figured whoever Ricardo wants to bring in to challenge us next, we're down for any competition. So, I'm down for anybody. We're grateful when we get to step in the ring with people that have a lot more experience than us, and learn off of them, and get to help us to further our careers. But also, I'm down for anybody to mix it up in the ring with. So, new, old, doesn't matter. People we've wrestled before, that's fine too. We're not afraid of competition. So whoever wants to step up, that's cool. And we'll also fly around the world, and we'll step up to other people and say, hey, we're bringing those world tag team championships. We're ready to defend them anywhere.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. No, definitely so. And again, you guys have done it before, making those world tag titles. So the passports are ready. The passports are ready just in case if need be. And also to claim some other tag team titles. We're talking about those, but who knows? Some more opportunities can come your way. There are teams, you mentioned ABC. They're currently holding those TNA World Tag Team titles as well. The Machine Guns, again, established team. We were lucky to have Shelley on here, and I let him know how much he's influenced many teams and just how much the Machine Guns meant for tag team wrestling. And you look at the Rascals as well. They've been killing it. They're still doing their thing as well. And indies like Revolver has been a big promotion that they've been very pivotal in. So who knows? Maybe a trip to Ohio needs to go down for you boys.
We're not opposed. We'll go anywhere, brother man.
Sounds good to us.
So, and look at that. We got 3 legacies in the chat here. with the world emoji and dog. So there you go. Like I said,
Yes,
those
sir.
world tag team champions there.
It is an honor to be the World Tag Team Championships.
Mm-hmm.
But now we go here with a little bit of a, again, I said it earlier to Bryce as well, and everyone that I have now. That's a little bit of a loaded question because it makes everyone start to think and have to break down their matches. But for both of you, an individual or even as a unit, what would be a match that you say that defines your careers so far? And it could be more than one. I've left the plate open just because it's usually harder to narrow it down to just an individual match.
Damn.
I got two that come off.
Yeah, you go first, dog.
That come off right away.
You got it.
Both of them kind of already were mentioned, but when we got to get in there with Alex Shelley, I mean, he's a pro at tag team wrestling. So even though his partner Chris Sabin wasn't there, it wasn't the full experience. Having just one half of the Motor City Machine Guns was a world of knowledge for us. And I mean, the way he broke down how to have a tag team match, and he didn't just, he wanted our input in there as well. So like, he didn't just come in and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. He said, well, let's plan this out. And he waited for us like, well, come on guys, let's put something together here. And, we'll go through piece by piece. And I mean, it was a match I look back at fondly, and that was really in an earlier stage of Dog Nation. But I think that's one of the matches that really got us fine tuned and got us thinking, okay, we got to really start thinking about these matches and how we're putting them together and all that stuff. But another one that comes to the top of my head is where we won these tag team championships. Wrestling Delirious and Smiley, just the crowd, the ovation, going toe to toe with veterans like that have such experience. And, to us, I think we tore the house down, and, we got such respect afterwards from everybody, from the fans to the locker room, and right there, I feel like we proved the three legacies. This is why we're the World Tag Team Champions, and we're here to stay.
Yeah. I think for me personally, I got three off the top of my head, 3.5 kind of, but I'll go a match we had with, it was Alan and I. It was our first match as Dog Nation. We had just came up with the name on the way to the show. The reason why we needed to put the name, we didn't need to, but we wanted to, and we were wrestling Hornswoggle and another gentleman by the name of Tommy Boy Floyd and another tag team by the name of the Stepdads. And the reason we were like, we need a name to this is serious. And then I said, I think I know what we should call us. And then Alan was like, yeah, me too. And he used to just call me Dog. And then he was, for that forever reason, he was just writing to me, hey, Dog Nation. That's what he was calling me. Yep. No reason behind the nickname. He was just calling me Dog Nation. I would call him Dog. He would call me Dog. And then it was, hey, Dog Nation. He would just randomly say it. And then I was like, what if we were Dog Nation? We changed the spelling to DAWG. And then we go on to win the match or whatever. And that's cool and all. But it was the respect that we had from Hornswoggle after. Because I originally was filming something that day, and he said, we'll see you afterwards. And then I didn't want to bring it up afterwards, but he said, hey, I'd like to film that for you. So I think during that match, we had earned his respect. He was very happy with our work at the time. And I think that was monumental because it was our first match as Dog Nation. And they didn't get the critique from him and Rhino as well. Rhino was on the show as well. Went out of his way to say some kind words. Very thankful for it. I was like, all right, this is for sure what we should be doing. We're on to something. We finally have our name. We had a couple tag matches under our belt, but I'm like, this is the start. The roller coaster has started. We're along for the ride.
Yeah.
Another match is going to be Delirious and Smiley. In 2016, I want to believe, I was maybe about to turn 20. Alan was maybe just 18, I believe.
Yeah, I'm 18.
We wanted to do a Ring of Honor camp, and I'll just take the blame for this because I'm a dumbass on this, but it said it was going to be $300 to enter the camp. I thought it was $300 just to get a potential chance to be in the camp. So we literally sent in the mail with the resume of why we should get into it. $300. I think we weren't even experienced enough for what they wanted. But I was like, screw it, let's try it. And then we sent the money. I think they literally just accepted us because it was guaranteed cash. Regardless, at the end of that seminar, Delirious asked how old we were. Moose did as well. And then they just said, you guys don't get it yet, but keep doing what you will. Keep doing what you're doing because you will. And then they get to wrestle Delirious and say that. And he hadn't wrestled in 6 months. He had just been writing for TNA. And I'm like, okay, so we have some pressure. You've been doing this for 20 plus years. And now the pressure's on. Are we going to be able to provide and make you not regret coming back after 6 months? Getting to finally relax and enjoy life. And we're your first match back. And yeah, we asked for critiques, and then he was just like, dude, I'm on such a wrestling high right now. We killed it. Thank you so much. So to get that, to be the inaugural 3 Legacies Wrestling Champions. And then the other match would be South Korea. The 2 gentlemen we were wrestling, the one had a complete language barrier, only spoke Korean. The other spoke English as well, and his Korean was not the greatest, but he was trying. So we were in there with someone that we're like, all right, well, if we get lost here, we're just going off motion. We're hoping for the best. There is no way I can say, hey, this is next. This is next. Like, you know what I mean? And it was his debut match. And the idea that they trusted us for someone that spoke a completely different language, and for Shiho, who is his trainer, to come back and thank us for doing that. And then, it was just such a good vibe. And then we went out and we fucking drank till 6, 7 in the morning. Like, it was, that to me was like, man, like I felt like a rock star. So that was something. And then I ended up wrestling the other gentleman the 3rd week I was there. His name was K.A. Kid. It was his 7th match. And just multiple times him and Chio thanked me and Alan for what we have gave. And for them to say you left Pro Wrestling Society a better place than when you guys came in, that's what means the most to me. Out of everything, I'm so thankful to do this, but learning from Ricardo and him saying ride the wave and enjoy and give what you can give, that meant the most to me. Yes, these world titles, I'll carry that badge with honor everywhere I go. But the idea that they said you made me better than when I first met you, that means more to me than anything.
No, I can imagine that truly is.
Long answer.
No, that's what we want here. It's conversations. This is what we like here on the podcast. But no, it's one of those where I think that should be the goal for anyone, especially in this business, is wherever you walk into to be able to leave it better than it was, and to be able to keep that going. Again, pun intended, respecting the craft of each place and that art form that we love so much.
Yes, sir.
So, but now again, mentioning those titles and mentioning Ricardo here, I do want to talk a little bit about how did that relationship come about and you guys becoming a part of that 3 Legacies Wrestling roster here.
So it originally started with, I want to say, winter of 2022, if not that, 23. We just needed a place to train. We needed a place to get in reps and stay on top of our game. I felt like we were at a plateau at that time. And I'm like, well, we just needed a different environment. Nothing against any previous environments, by no means. Very, very proud of where I've come from. And I wouldn't change it for the world. But I sent a message to Ricardo, and I just said what we had experienced before. I said, is this good enough to come to the school? And he was straight up like, you guys might be a little too advanced for the class that we're running. And I said, I don't care. I said, I'll do, like, I don't want to say like what greenies would do, but like you're doing the squats, you're doing the push-ups, you're doing the abs. You're getting through the stuff to break people to see, do you actually want to come back? And I was like, I'll do whatever. I was like, we just need to be in the ring. We just need to, even if it's just running the ropes. Basics to me are honestly the most important thing there is to wrestling. So yeah, as far as in-ring craft goes, So I hit him up. He said, come on down, and despite, the difference. And then that just kind of spiraled from there. We kept coming, like, not expecting to be on the shows. I just said, if you ever had interest in using us, it would be with this. And then he said, hey, you've been coming a lot. Would you want to be in the scramble? And he said, I still plan on using Alan and you as a tag team. But he said, at least this allows the crowd to get used to your face. And then I was like, all right, yeah, let's do it. And then from there on, eventually after the Red Rose Rumble, we had our debut match, and we've been at every show, I'm pretty sure, since then. The only show we have not been at was the one where I was at South Korea. Alan represented us and was here in America. And then Chile. We were both in Chile for that show. But even though we weren't there to represent CELW, we were literally representing it elsewhere. So that is basically how that started. We just kept coming, and then he saw the work we were putting in and said, I'd like to use you guys. You obviously have had good training prior to this, so you have good heads on your shoulders, and that's been that. And also, I mean, the man's still unselfish. I remember one time I got there at like 5, stayed for the other class, and I probably talked to him about till like midnight. I mean, he didn't question anything. He just letting me ask questions. So I don't know if you have anything to add to that, but
that sums it up pretty much.
Yeah. Once again, long answer, but yeah.
I was gonna say it even shows though, even at this stage of the game, though, even willing to, in a sense, and again, like you said, it wasn't expecting anything from it, more of just to be able to get those reps in, be able to keep your bodies where it needs to be, especially at this stage of the game, but to say still almost paying those dues, being willing to do the basics and do what's needed to still show, hey, that is how much respect you have for this and how much you have that love and understanding of, hey, you need to have that ring time to keep at the level that you want to be and to continue to grow where you want to get to.
Yeah, of course. Firm believer, wrestling is always evolving. Sometimes old school is the new school because people haven't seen it in so long, but there's still so much we can learn, man. I mean, there's still so much. That's why after we are fortunate to wrestle names, the first question, like with Delirious, like, hey, what could we have done better? What can? And then even after his great words of like, dude, I don't have anything right now. I'm on a wrestling high. He was so thankful. He's like, yo, give me a second. I want to enjoy this. And here we are, like, we're thankful to be champions, but like, I'm so on the verge of like, yeah, like, tell us what we can do better, because every chance we can get better, I just think it's a step closer to whatever the next step is. And then I wanted to mention this on the match with Delirious and Smiley, just because I think it's a funny story, and I want to add it to the podcast for any of there to pull the curtain back a little bit. We were given 10 to 12 minutes. So we're doing the match, we're feeling the crowd, we're doing our thing. And Zach Carlucci is our ref, and he goes, we're about 10 minutes in, which is the time we were given, and he said, hey, you need to wrap it up. I haven't even made the hot tag to Alan yet, and I know we still got another half going on, but the crowd, thankfully, so invested, and during the match, we got a "This is awesome" chant, we got a second "This is awesome" chant, a 3LW chant, and then at the end we got the "That was awesome" ovation. And we're told after. So long story short, on that, Carlucci comes up to me and he says again, he's like, hey man, like, we're 12 minutes in, like, we're past due time. And I said, I'll take the blame for it, but I'm not telling Delirious, hey, wrap it up. I ain't telling this man who's been doing this for 20 years, hey, bub, we need to start wrapping this up. And the way the crowd was feeling too, so I was like, I'll take the blame when we get to the back. And so we end up going like 17, 18 minutes. And we're still told, hey, at the end, do a pose. We're going to set pyro off. And, we're having to do all these things. And I'm thinking right in my head, right before we're going to ask Delirious, what did you think of the match, all this stuff. Ricardo's next. And I'm like, fuck, we're going to get chewed out right away. And literally, we get to the back, and he goes, that's what I'm fucking talking about. he's dabbing us up.
The
like
first guy behind the curtain, there he was standing there. That was great.
He was like, "That's what we needed." Like, wait, he was just like stumbling over his words. He's like, "Yes," like, and people were coming up, way to steal the show, like, just doing stuff like that. And the whole time, as we're doing this and doing our thing, remembering the what's next, still telling the emotion, letting things settle in. I'm getting told you got to wrap it up, and I'm over here like, dog, I ain't fucking telling this man no, like the whole time. But yeah, it was to then be told like, hey, if you're gonna do that, at least make it count. And thankfully, we made it count.
No, especially in a match like that, I feel like it's gonna be like that. Especially the crowd's into it, the titles are on the line. It's one of those where you have that emotion of Delirious finally back in a ring. I would have just blamed it on Smiley. Just say it was his fault. we told him to cut it short, man. He kept doing the flips.
I'm so big on time cues because I'm so big on the idea of not getting a show done at a certain time, but I want to respect others and their time with the match.
Of course.
Like if I was in there with someone else, I'd probably be like, "Hey, but we gotta wrap this the fuck up." You heard? And then, but I ain't telling Delirious no.
And we did say, right before we went out, we were like, this might be over 12 minutes, and Delirious kind of gave us the nod. Yeah, we're going to be over 12 minutes. You can believe that.
No, but I feel like no one, again, like you said, even Ricardo's like, that's how you do a fucking match. That's how they want that reaction, the crowd loving it. I don't think anyone's going to complain about a little 5 to 6, even though in the backstage side of things, it's like 5 minutes over. Oh no. But it's like the production side of me is like, oh no.
Yeah, you're on TV time. Yeah, you're kind of fucked, man. Yeah, big deal.
Oh man, but again, it's one of those for people again getting ready for this Saturday. Who knows what could happen? Who knows what could happen when that Red Rose Rumble 2 event again? It's a grand stage. We've been looking at how insane the reaction has been. The 3 Legacy Fade 4 loving it. They're coming in strong. We saw the support here with this episode, so it's going to be one where that energy is going to be high. It's going to be something, and especially like you guys said, it's that one apiece here. So it's gonna be big this Saturday at 3 Legacy. But before we start wrapping this up, though, because I want to be respectful of your guys' time here, I do have to ask again. With 10 years now in the business for you guys, when it comes to now being again a tag team here, you both said your separate stories of getting in, deciding to get into the business. Did you guys going into it ever think tag team wrestling was going to be the route?
I don't know if I was ever opposed to it. I think as a kid, like, I would wrestle, like, as a tag team with my friends on a trampoline or at backyard wrestling. I would wrestle in a tag team. I originally tagged with my high school best friend at the time, Leo Sweet, now Merrick Miami, who will also be on the Red Rose Rumble too. Shout out to my boy. But I think always I was like, yeah, I could do a tag, but I also thought I could do it singles. I obviously prefer tag. Like when I envision things in my head of where I want Alan and I to end up, or where or my goals, Alan's always by my side in these visions. So I would say yeah, but I never thought it would be with a guy that I wrestled on a show in a fatal 4-way. And then 3 weeks later, I said, hey, our bookings got canceled. We were on a show called PPW, Power Pro Wrestling. And there was going to be a snowstorm. And there was a warning. Everyone, stay inside your houses. Do not travel. The Monster Factory was running. And I was, not 19, 20 at best. And young and stupid. And said, I want to go. So I started hitting people up. And the message I legit wrote to them, hey, I know we just met each other for the first time 3 weeks ago, but would you be willing to travel 3 hours away from here and stay overnight and do this seminar and be on a show where we wrestled each other? I never thought from that first time I met him to that journey that we'd be here. I'm glad we are, obviously. So, yeah.
That was the beginning of our careers, too. I mean, when we had that 4-way and met, that was like my 4th or 5th match. And, only a few in for him as well. And, you know, doing that Monster Factory stuff, that was our first year in. We didn't start teaming until we were 5 years in. So it shows, we, you know, our journey has been connected from almost the very beginning of our careers, but it took, you know, 5 years until we actually said, hey, you know, I think we should be a tag team.
Well, then, again, that just shows you how stories are there, man. It's all interconnected, and it's insane to see moments like that, or what it all clicks, you know, it all clicks and makes it here. And why we're having this conversation now with those world tag team champions, Dog Nation. But before we wrap this up, I do want to ask this now for both of you. What is the end goal, then?
We actually just talked about this maybe 2 Saturdays ago. I don't know exactly what the end goal is. I'll always say this. I would love to go to Japan. I know a lot of people would. No specific company. Would just be grateful for the opportunity. And I am in love with the idea of Japan just because of how they watch and respect wrestling. And I mean, we're shitheads when we're out there, when we're bad guys. I mean, we are not the nicest of people, and they're so respectful. I would love to see if we could break them a little bit. Could we make these people that appreciate the art of professional wrestling so much be like, oh, he's a bad guy. Like, we'll appreciate it because they love wrestling and they want to appreciate it. But I want to see if I can push it to the extent and make these people legit hate us. I want, you know, those reactions you would get if you went to Puerto Rico or Chile. Like, I want to see if I could drive someone to that point of, hey, you no longer respect me. You legit hope this guy, like, beats the shit out of me, you know?
Gotcha.
I'm so fascinated with that because they respect it so much, and I also love the respect that they have for it as well. So I wanna bring a little mischief to the culture, you know? I wanna stir the pot a little bit, not add all the regular ingredients. I wanna add a little Dog Nation in there and see if we can add a little zing to it, you know?
Got you. I will give that warning though. If a Puerto Rico opportunity comes, might want to bring more of what we see at Three Legacies, because that emotion might be very more physical than Chile.
So I've heard, but maybe I'm a psychopath for it, but I thrive off it, brother.
You'll get your real opportunity to be Dean Ambrose, except this time they're not trying to touch you out of love. Yeah. We'll leave it at that.
As Ricardo says, you know, keep riding the wave, and I feel like that's what we got to keep doing at this moment. I don't know what the end goal is, but I want to keep doing what we're doing, keep getting this kind of opportunity, keep getting this experience, and hopefully it leads to bigger and better things. But I mean, as long as we're kicking ass and keeping at it and traveling around the world, I mean, this is already a dream come true, you know.
Living the dream, man.
That's what you love to hear. Again, that's the biggest thing with it, biggest thing with all of this. And again, guys, we want to remind you, if you haven't already, make sure you are following Three Legacies Wrestling there on their social media. Follow them so you stay up to date with all things Red Rose Rumble, but also make sure you are following these gentlemen on their social media right there. Links will also be in the description down below, but follow Sage right there on Instagram. Sage is trash. Wait, I didn't want to ask you that because the social got me. Like, you're already calling yourself trash on, or are you just trying to get the heat when it's like, hey, just call me trash already?
Sage Matthews at one point was called Pure Trash. Sage Matthews.
Okay.
Because my character was indeed a trashy human being, still can be, but the purity of it was, even though I'm such this piece of shit, this piece of trash, I'm still better than you. I'm still, like, I can do all these horrible things, and people would still pick me over you. Like, that's how low you are to me. And that was the idea behind the name, the gimmick I was carrying at the time. And I eventually found out someone else had the moniker. I did some research on it and found out they had it prior to me. And I'm not here to fight over that stuff. I was like, I'm always in the idea of reinventing myself and, taking inspiration from Chris Jericho, who's done it multiple times, always trying to evolve. And I just had the name Sage is Trash. That was my handle. and it always got people questioning and asking, and that's a platform to talk about myself. So I kept it at that.
Got you. No, that works. And again, it brought us to talk about it right here for a second.
So,
but make sure as well you're following Alan on his Instagram right there, Alan Clayball right there. The X's I tried to find are we not on X? Are we not too fond of Twitter there? Because I was trying to find your guys' accounts, and
I am no longer on X. I used to have Twitter, and I understand I always get a lot of slack for it. You should have it. You should have it. And then eventually I did, and I'm gonna sound kind of like a little sissy about this, but like there's just so much negativity on it, man. And I was just like, dude, I love wrestling so much, and seeing these, like, I wouldn't even follow them, but it'd be like pages suggested for you, and you would see these takes, and it would just be so negative towards wrestling. I'm like, wrestling brings me, besides family and my dogs and stuff, the most happiness I have in this world. And honestly, just constantly seeing this banner, I can just live without it. So I just deleted it.
Got you. No, that works definitely. I said it to Just Jay the other day. I said it to Just Jay the other day. I wish we could all just be Timothy Thatcher and just not have to use this, and just still be able to get the reach out with wrestling. Because yeah,
I mean, Dean Ambrose is a great example of it. He never uses social media.
Oh yeah, he has it there, but it's like he's barely on it. Which again, it still works. He's still reachable. He still gets his way. With Thatcher, I still want to know how. There's not even an email out for them. So yeah, but hey, it works out. It works out for him. But no, again, gentlemen, thank you so much again for joining me here. Again, to everyone watching, don't forget this Saturday it goes down. Red Rose Rumble 2 for those 3LW World Tag Team titles. And look at that, those championships right there. Those will be defended again. Like they said, they're definitely not looking to lose those anytime soon. And to everyone watching, as always, don't forget to be wise, be genuine, be real, be better people, respect the craft. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace, everybody.